Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 Monster Hunter monsters. For this list, we'll be diving into the wide bestiary that Capcom has developed in search of monsters we feel are distinctive, creative, and are just badass overall. What's your favorite monster to battle against? Let us know in the comments below.
I think my favorite monster had to be the Rathalos.
My favorite from the movie is probably the Nasilla. I just love them. They're so disturbing. I think they kind of access something primal in human beings. I have a 10-month-old baby. She's already scared of like spiders and creepy crawlies. I think it's something we're hardwired to be distressed by. And I think the Nasilla accesses that.
Number 20, Malfestio. This colorful owl wyvern might not seem as ferocious as the other monsters in the series, but it can be just as dangerous. This deadly foe can confuse hunters with a sudden display of yellow scales, disorienting those around it. And the Malfestio is also capable of producing an ultrasound cry that puts those who challenge it to sleep. This monster gets points for its unique design and looking incredibly slick when it's fighting. This isn't some brutish beast, it's a sleek and trained killer that is as dangerous as it is beautiful. Number 19, Tetsucabra. It's the angriest amphibian you've ever seen. This frog-like monster uses its enormous tusks to gore its opponents or shovel up boulders from the earth to lob at victims. The Tetsucabra can also spit out a green glob from its mouth that slows the hunters and affects their stamina. Talk about gross. Its frenzied style of attacking means every hunter needs to watch out or be struck by its fangs, and when it rages, you don't want to be around. But prepared hunters take note. This creature's tusks can be broken off, making the fight a little easier. Number 18, Shen Garen. A giant hermit crab that uses the skull of a dragon as its shell. This is one strange and terrifying monster. A callback to the legendary Lao Shan Lung, the skull of that dragon adorns this monstrous crab and the fight that happens in pretty much the same way. Shen Garen is not very interested in fighting hunters, but the hunter still must stop the crustacean from destroying the walls of the fortress. This behemoth is much harder to take down than other monsters, requiring the use of special artillery and fortress defenses in order to kill. Number 17, Nibble Snarf. Don't let this creature's name fool you. It's highly deadly and should be approached with utmost caution. This leviathan can burrow through sand and swim in it. It has mastered its environment, able to dig below a hunter and burst forth unexpectedly. From its wide, gaping mouth, it can expel sand and debris, creating a wind tunnel that can mess up even the most prepared hunters. When its large mouth opens, hunters can take the opportunity to strike at its weak points, and especially clever hunters can even trick the Nibble Snarf into swallowing carefully placed bombs. That's sure to be a meal this creature won't forget. Number 16, Keizu. This blind, pale wyvern isn't pretty to look at and offers a hard fight to anyone foolhardy enough to hunt it down. Found primarily in caves and able to track down prey with its incredible sense of smell, the Keizu shares the same aesthetic as a naked mole rat. Able to cling to cave ceilings with suction-like feet and devour their prey with elongated necks, the Keizu can also paralyze foes with powerful electrical shocks. As if this creature weren't scary enough, Keizu reproduces by paralyzing other creatures and injecting their young inside. The baby Keizu then eats their way out or waits until the creature they live inside dies. Have fun trying to sleep tonight. Number 15, Gammoth. This enormous beast looks like a woolly mammoth on steroids and hits like a truck. Able to breathe out ice from its huge trunk or encase parts of its body in thick snow to protect against attacks, this monster can take a lot of damage before showing any sign of being hurt. The Gammoth is also incredibly hostile despite being an herbivore, and can be hard to fight due to its sheer size. Getting too close can blind you to its next attack. Be careful that you don't get trampled or frozen by this huge foe. Number 14. Glavinus. What's cooler than a T-Rex? How about a T-Rex with a tail that lights on fire? The Glavinus is a horned brute wyvern that looks like your typical dinosaur except for its fiery tail and its habit of spitting out fireballs. The tail should not be trifled with. One swipe can mean the end of a slow hunter. Glavinus has given many hunters a difficult time learning its moveset and figuring out how to deal with that flaming tail. This is a tough fight, but finally defeating this beast is sure to give anyone an exhilarating rush. Number 13. Astolos. This electric wyvern just looks too cool not to be included on this list. Its wings resemble those of a dragonfly, and the pincers on its tail look eerily similar to those of an earwig. Top that off with the green coloring on its black scales, and you've got yourself an electrifying monster. Beware its electrical charge, which it can release from nearly any part of its body to paralyze its foes, giving it an easy opportunity to devour its prey. One of the best new monster designs, the Astolos is as terrifying as it looks. Number 12. Quechuacha. Playful and curious, this lemur-like monster is nonetheless still a terror to face in the wild. Able to glide like a flying squirrel and shoot out globs of mucus to damage foes, this excitable monster can pose a challenge to even the most experienced of hunters. But we can't help but find this monster cute. The way it covers its eyes with its ears to appear more intimidating to foes, or the way this monkey is introduced at first, make us want to keep the Quechuacha as a pet, which would probably be one of the worst mistakes of our lives. Number 11. Zamtrios. There is perhaps nothing more horrifying than a monstrous shark that can move on land. This dangerous beast is capable of covering itself in icy armor that makes it look even scarier, and also protects its body from attack. When in real danger, it can inflate itself to enormous proportions to become a big ball of shark fat that crushes and rolls over opponents. It can look a bit silly, but its design is so cool and sleek beyond that it would be a crime not to include the Zamtrios on our list. Number 10. Ogre. It's got a wolf's ferocity and the brutality of thunder. As one of the few fanged wyvern monsters in existence, Ogre is certainly unique in its world. It embodies the element of lightning with great ease, striking its foes quickly after charging and storing electricity. Ogre is also impressive in design, appearing lupine in shape, yet at the same time standing out thanks to its green fur. For those who venture into the forest, beware. This beast's fangs and claws aren't for show. Number 9. Legiacrus. The ocean is far less calm with this beast around. Legiacrus made its debut in Monster Hunter Tri, being the first sea-dwelling boss monster you encounter. However, it's more than capable of fighting on land when pressed, relying on claw-based strikes and electricity-infused blows to bring down hunters. Legiacrus is not easily found, dwelling only in a handful of locations, but if confronted, it can make for quite the engaging combat experience. Number 8. Dilucatr. Nothing quite like an honest-to-goodness dragon to make us fear for our lives. One of the largest monsters in the series, the Dilucatr belongs to the Elder Dragon species, a group of ancient monsters capable of destroying the world. To that end, this creature is deliberately designed to be imposing. It bears a serpentine face and fangs and is massive in scope. Adding to the intimidation effect is how Dilucatr attacks foes with a variety of flame-based attacks, from simple fireballs to sweeping fields of flame. Number 7. Tigrex. Adaptability is this monster's specialty. Introduced in Monster Hunter Freedom 2, the flying wyvern known as Tigrex is known for its habit of traveling and inhabiting different environments: deserts, forests, snowy peaks, and so forth. The one consistent element about Tigrex is that it's incredibly fast, often charging the hunters repeatedly, and possessing a piercing roar powerful enough that it can throw around careless players. Even Metal Gear Solid's big boss can get ripped apart by one in Peace Walker. Number 6, Alatreon. Best to keep one's distance and tread very carefully. Another member of the Elder Dragon species, Alatreon is something of a wild card. It suffers from elemental instability, which grants it power over 4 of the world's elements. This red-hued winged beast keeps a tight grip on its habitat in the Sacred Land, relying on a cavalcade of dragon, ice, fire, and thunder-fueled attacks when approached by players. Grand in scale and magnificent in appearance, it makes sense why Alatreon was selected as a late-game monster online for Monster Hunter Tri. Number 5, Gormagala. Dark and brooding, just the way we like it. The flagship monster of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, winged monstrosity Gormagala hews closest to the Elder Dragons by way of its 6 limbs and dark-toned exoskeleton. Regardless, it earns its nickname of Black Eclipse Wyvern through the use of its hairs to darken the sky, before unleashing attacks tinged with the Frenzy virus. And the struggle doesn't end there. When sufficiently agitated, Gormagala enters Frenzy mode, where it can unleash deadly explosive energy blasts that will really ruin your day. And if you can survive all that, get ready for it to shed its skin to become the Shagaru Magala. Number 4, Rothalos. Every series has some kind of mascot, and this may very well be the equivalent for Monster Hunter.
You know, I love dragons. I've always been a big fan of sci-fi and fantasy and Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. And so for me, like, to just be able to like act on screen with a real life dragon was amazing. And he's so beautiful and so powerful and just like nothing I had ever imagined. So to be able to, you know, do a scene and imagine this dragon in front of me was just so much fun.
Rothalos, alongside its female counterpart Rathalos, has showed up in various games since the original Monster Hunter was released in 2004. Its design is simple yet elegant: bright red scales, clawed wings, and spiked tail. Yet simplicity aids it greatly. Rothalos can inhabit a variety of biomes, standing its ground thanks to its aggressive demeanor and mix of poison and fire attacks. Built to be both versatile and strong, Rothalos is a worthy foe for hunters. Number 3, Brachydios. Whether in the heat or cold, this brute wyvern knows how to wreck someone's day. Brachydios stands as one of those monsters that is unmistakable in appearance. It's adorned in a shiny obsidian hide, offset by glowing green fists and horns. The glowing is a clue for players to take care in combat, as Brachydios excretes a type of explosive slime which is able to stick onto careless hunters. Though by no means normally easygoing, an enraged Brachydios will go the extra mile to directly strike hunters with its explosive appendages. At least the explosive weapons you make from it are worth it. Number 2, Darren Moran. In Monster Hunter Tri, we were first introduced to the Gen Moran, a monster the size of a cargo ship that requires your own sand ship to bring it down. Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate wastes no time by setting its even deadlier counterpart as the very first monster you face in the game before you even have any gear. When you fight this guy for real, you take him on in 2 different ways: utilizing the weapons on the sand ship to weaken him, or by climbing up his back, Shadow of the Colossus style, to defeat this colossal beast.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure to go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Deviljho. Fear the great devourer, for it has no restraint. Deviljho resembles a T-Rex, and for good reason. It is nomadic in nature, traveling from region to region with only one goal: to find prey. Lore tells of Deviljho consuming their own kin, constantly searching for food, and even going so far as eating creatures alive to save time. In combat, this translates into players facing a relentless beast that relies on everything from biting to stomping on the ground ferociously to even releasing dragon breath. Make sure you're fully prepared for taking this thing on, and if it finds you, run and don't look back.
In the mood for more awesome gaming content? Be sure to check out this video here on Mojo Plays. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.